you have arrived at the K.O.E. Nation. Actually, we have a new guest to arrive here. One that I'm actually very much looking forward to this. Folks, you know him, you love him. He's the one, the only Bandit. How are we doing there, sir?
Doing all right.
Nice. And I gotta say, sir, the folks at home wouldn't have seen this, but like I must mention that when Pastor was doing the closing prayer, you did in fact have your head bowed and your eyes closed. Well done, sir, to you. You get a like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. What I want from you, sir, many of the folks at the KOE Nation know you as one of the great honored thanes of the KOE Nation. Okay, like you're like because I'm a Skyrim fan. Like, yes, you're a thane because I think that's awesome, and we don't use that one enough. So yeah, I like that. I like it. So what I want from you, sir, and you can take as much time as you want. I'm going to do one of the most painful things in all my existence during this. I'm going to give you the full camera and I'm going to mute my mic. And I'll take notes of the things that I feel like with Lethe, I had to take a lot of notes because there were some things we really needed to drill down on. With you, I'm just curious about I'm more curious about the steps, than how you got there. With Lethe, like I was really more worried about the conclusion. With you, I was like, I really want because this is also your chance to witness to others what your journey in Christ is. And like, let's say nobody's perfect. We've all had some bumps in the road. Me, plenty. Me, many more than others, actually. And so, what I really want from you, because I'm going to give you the full screen, and I want you to introduce everybody to who you are, however you want to call yourself, your online name, your first, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Introduce yourself however you like, and then go through the entirety of your journey. And then once you're done, I want you to say, and that has been my walk in Christ up to now. Okay. And then I'm going to make this a standalone video so that folks in the future, whenever they're like, okay, Bandit was on the show with Sprouticus and Lethe, what do these guys believe? There's just a beautiful source where you can get your story. Okay. And so this is a chance for you to witness. It's also a chance for folks to be able to kind of understand your perspective and what lens you're looking through theologically. And you take as much time as you like, because this is one where we can really, and if you like see me in a little camera walk away, I'm still listening to you on my phone. I'm just getting some ice or something because no, I want every little bit of this. And it's definitely, these are the moments to me that the juice is worth the squeeze. So, Bandit, I'm going to give you full screen. Introduce yourself, and I want you to get into your journey, sir. Oh, there we go.
Hi, I'm Bandit. Also, my name is Trey. I'll probably give some confessions, both somewhat of a political nature, but the point of this is of a religious nature. But there are some crossing of paths where that would become apparent. Growing up as a child up until mid-teens, I had a standard religious life. I was baptized, confirmed in the Methodist Church. When I was about 6 years old, my grandfather, who had turned out to be a profound path in my life, or in my religious life, he would always come and pick me up to take me to Sunday school, and it's one of the few memories of that time that I have. And so when it comes to death, I have a different perspective on that than I would say that most people have, because uh, a lot of that, a lot of the life between then and up until about 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Um, wasn't real impact. I mean, there wasn't really anything to of noteworthy. The first thing that really made an impact was about the time that I was coming of age, learning to drive, getting a job. I really corresponded with the church that I had grown up in, and there was a strong church family in. Um, it started to die off. To take a step back, about a decade prior to that, the pastor that was there, they had changed up, and when they changed up, a lot of the feeder families went with them, and it ended up being only a matter of time before that church family became weak enough that they had to seek other homes. I found a different home. I have a church home, but in part and parcel with coming of age and learning to drive, getting a job, and with the work that I do, being in the retail agents or industry, that it's not one of those things that I can have every Sunday off. And as time goes on, it's one of those things that when you do have a Sunday off, you, it's not your first inclination to run to church. And there's other things that are involved with that matter. Um, but to where I was intending to go with this is the bef- at first there was I had a my mother's brother uncle. My uncle was my mother's brother. He passed away. We weren't that close, but it was one of those things that I recall when he passed of having a religious experience of being affirmed in the faith of in this kind of eh, if you watch tonight's Lethe was here before, and just to keep moving on with that was that um I've I've I couldn't wrap my head around how someone could experience the death of a close loved one and not see um, how that would bring them closer to Christ, being that they were going to be with the Lord. It was, I mean, in the end, you only get 2 dates with a dash in between, and make the most of the dash. But he was strong with his faith in Christ, and uh, not too long afterwards, my mother went to be with the Lord um, abruptly, and um, it was one of those. So I said at the start of this that I was going to make some admissions, and one of those is that I still live at home. Um, the other part of that is that um, I was making moves to buy a place of my own. Um, when she came down sick, in um, without getting into too much detail, my father isn't in the greatest of health. He's not in the worst of health, but it's one of those things that I would not be comfortable with moving out and leaving him here on his own. Um, and but to what her dying wish was, she had two dying wishes. One, that we would look after each other, and the other, that we would both stay strong in our faith. And um, one of my, I can't think of the word of it, but and we'll just go with regrets, is that I, I don't think that I've fulfilled that with just lack of attendance, but there's some political parts of that I, everyone has their story of the church has done a thing that they don't approve of, and I'm in the same boat. But I to my greatest effort, I try to complete that promise for her, and um, I can't remember what the line was, but that's about where I am in my um, faith.
Thank you so much for that. And sir, thank you. Thank you. No, totally. Take all the time you need. Totally, totally understand it. That was deep, folks. That was deep. Like that was you got to look into one of the most intimate parts of a man's life, laid it for you to see and to understand, and I thank him for that. That took bravery. Okay, like we've all got loss. Not all of us have been able to process it to that level. And Trey, can are you good now? Can we?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
A couple of things I wanted to note is death is a moment in our lives. The death of others is a moment in our lives that moves us closer because we realize our own mortality is one part of it, but we also see the flux of our loved ones from this world now moving to the next. And there's other things that because at first I noted that your grandfather's death was very moving, but then as we got deeper, obviously your mother's death was the one that's had the most profound effect on you. As it should. Like my mother's still alive, and that's not a day I relish. Okay, but anyone who
And
hasn't gone that through that someday will.
and to a degree, I mean, it's safe to say that a death 30 years ago, as opposed to, I think it's 5 years. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
passage of time. I mean,
Well, it's the thing. Like you learn to grow around that grief. It's kind of like how a tree, when it's been kind of changed in its direction of growth, you now grow in this new direction. But in terms of like, all right, Trey, you felt that you were not doing enough. That is because, like, the reaction you had there is because your love for your mother is so profound. Okay, that it's not because you're, because here's the thing, uh, very good man at my Bible study was having the same issue where he can only come every other week because of his job. Okay. And he was having an issue with it. And like, it was, you could see it was messing with his soul. Like it was tearing him up inside. And the pastor took him aside afterwards a little bit, but it's one thing that I said to him, and I'm going to say it to you as well. People that just go to church every single week aren't necessarily going to go to heaven. But people like you who are the church absolutely will. So don't think just because like people like you are the church, sir. So like whenever you do find a permanent home, that will like wherever you go will be better for having you. Okay? And like what you like you can help people who have gone through tremendous loss because what you like because everything that I'm seeing here is a story of loss and devotion, and the pain you feel is because the devotion to those who were in your life who you've lost. And so that's like when throughout all this loss, all it does is deepen your devotion. Don't think that you've fallen short of that, sir. That's what I would say to you is that your mom would be proud. All right, that's all I'm gonna say to you about that. And so Trey, that was truly moving. Thank you for all of that. I mean, laying it all on the line. That took like a lot of people don't understand what true bravery looks like, and that was truly beautiful. So thank you for that. And yeah, that was an all-time classic. And
This is where the rub comes is while it is hard for us on this earth to deal with their loss, that they have gone to be with the Lord and they have gone to heaven
yep,
in all of its glory. They did not go to a worse place. They went to a better
exactly.
place without in usually when you hear this some some people will roll their eyes, but they are now without pain.
Exactly. Now, like to me, like your story was amazing. Like that, it was heart wrenching. I mean, like yours
Yeah.
was just like it conveyed, like, and it literally conveyed the depths in which love of even like Christ's love for all of us is. It's like how deep your devotion was that you expressed in that moment. Okay, like it gave us just a little glimpse, like kind of like when you poke through a dark piece of paper and you're looking at the sun. You know what I mean? Like gave us just a small glimpse of that because like it like because we can never fully fathom with our minds Christ's full love for us, but like you gave us with Lethe, like his mother was a tremendous like that. Like I would have loved to have met her at some like because with her very last breath, she sang devotion to her Lord. Like that's amazing. And like this is something that I hope I get the chance to see Mabel. She wasn't at church this week. She's a 90-some-year-old lady at our church, and she was one of the first four people that made a very big impression on me because she was just like shaking with love for the Lord. Okay, like, and what I would say, like, is, well, Mabel, when the Lord calls you home, we're going to cry because church just isn't ever going to quite be the same without you. Okay, that's why we're going to shed tears, not because you've gone with Jesus, you're happy. We shed tears because church ain't ever going to be the same without you, Mabel. And so that's how you look at that. You know what I mean? And like especially Mabel, she's had a beautiful, long, full life. And trust me, like if I were to ever have her on here, she would also have a story that would reduce you to tears. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's the thing that I like about this is because we've all got a story with some twists and turns, and if you give a man enough time, he will reduce you to tears with the tale of his story.